Welcome, everybody, back to Harbor Discussions. This is episode, I want to say it's 20 now. And I am back in here with the very first guest ever on Harbor Discussions.
Yo.
Jake Dozen, everybody. This is actually episode 19. Correction, I had to check real quick. Close fucking enough. So, it has been the 1 year anniversary since we started the podcast as well. I uploaded the first episode in May of last year, which means we recorded that probably in April sometime.
Wow.
But yeah, either way, time flies, and I thought we should get you back in order to, one, acknowledge the 1 year anniversary, and two, you've joined Suckawhat since we've done your interview. You're about to have a child.
Lots changed.
Yeah, a lot's changed, so we're going to talk about all that. I wanted to first and foremost just talk about the podcast. We're going to talk about the very first episode. What did you think, honestly, when I first reached out to do the podcast? Like, what were your thoughts,
Well, I'd seen you around, and you were an awesome guy, and somebody local to start something like this, just the whole idea of it was badass, and I was kind of honored that you would even, to think somebody would care enough about my shit to have me on to talk about it. It kind of, I had to do it, you know what I mean?
Well, thank you. And then, after we did the episode, what were your thoughts, before it was even uploaded, just, right after we did?
Well, the whole process of itself, you've taken it more seriously than most people that I know that do this, because, a lot of friends that I have that do podcasts, it's just something for fun, and they'll record it on their phone or something like that.
Right.
I could tell from when you started it, you had an idea and you wanted to do something serious, and I mean, it's still this is a more professional setup than, like I said, any other podcaster I know doing it right now. So,
well, that means
it's sick. I mean, it's badass. You can tell you're putting. I'm looking at 4 microphones. So.
Yeah, I figured instead of leaving them unplugged or something, because sometimes I'm a quiet dude. You're a little quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
It helps just to have the extra noise and stuff. Because also, I feel like a lot of people that do it professionally, they have, rooms that are built for it and stuff where,
It's just a basement, but...
yeah. I did close the vent there today, so we'll see if that makes a difference. I don't know. By the way, shout out to End It. We're drinking the Black Flag Brewing Company and End It collaboration. Also, shout out to Alpha Hemp Solutions and Good Time Health. They're both local brands from Westminster, Maryland, where the podcast is based. They're a hemp-based company. They do lotions and stuff like that. CBD infused. This muscle repair lotion is about to be a part of a new gym line that they're doing. They're going to be doing clothes and stuff like that, all gym-related. It's going to be called AP Labs. And then Good Time Health, they do mushroom-blended coffees and teas. So basically, if you've ever heard of mud water, but that shit sucks to drink, shit is musty, this shit is good going down. Get you some Good Time Health. It's got health benefits. Speaking of Alpha Hemp Solutions, they were kind enough to give me some of their Delta 9 gummies, which, 21 and older folks, perfectly legal. Says take one, so I figure we'll take 2. That's just how it is. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Of course. And we'll give you a live review here.
Not a chore like eating some gummies.
Definitely. Got a good taste, too.
Some gummies you eat and it's just tastes like poison.
Yeah.
Not that. That was good.
Hell yeah. So, we'll let you know in a little bit if we're getting any effects here. So, and then what's been your favorite podcast that you've listened to so far on the channel?
Okay, so this might be a little biased,
right?
And I know it's gonna sound weird, but definitely the Suckawhat interview, because first and foremost, that dropped before I was in the band, so
right.
And they were a band that Butcher's Dozen played with a lot, and I'd been around, but hadn't quite super gotten to know those guys yet, except for Billy I've known for a long time, but Mike and Nate, I'd seen them around, and we were definitely friends, but it was awesome to hear them talk about the story of everything and how they got together, and And now it's even more awesome because I got to join and fuck all of that up. So like,
Well, that was a perfect segue because I wanted to talk about you joining Suckwood as the vocalist. Do you remember like your first encounter with them?
okay, so to be honest, I remember seeing Nate. Nate, Mike, and Billy all went to this show that Butchers Doesn't Play with Stout at the Rockwell.
Right.
And Nate was fucking moshing the whole time, just throwing down. And I'm like, who is this kid? Just fucking nonstop. And I got talking to him afterwards. And then ever since that, I those three dudes I saw at shows all the time in Baltimore. So, um, and then they started Suck a What, and they started playing around with a lot of the. They played Raven Inn with us, and they started doing shows at the HQ that Mike would always have Butchers does, and so I got to know those guys through just playing with them all the time. But I always wanted to do vocals in a band, and Justifiable Homicide kind of fell off. So where I was at and where they were at needing somebody, it was just kind of perfect.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
Everything kind of fell into place without any problems, and it's been working since. It's probably the band I've put most effort in ever.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, practicing every week because every other band I've been in, everybody lives far apart. So this is just having something local in Westminster is a completely different experience than I've ever had.
Gotcha. What was the exact process of joining the band like?
So they needed somebody. Okay, let me take it back before COVID. They needed somebody to fill in for drums for a couple shows, I believe, and I was gonna do that, and then things happened, and no shows happened for a long time, and then when shows started back up, I was talking to Mike, and he was like, "Well, we need somebody. It could either be drums or vocals since Nate switches. Since Travis left and moved, like they needed to fill one of the spots, and I was like, I'll fill in on vocals for a couple shows. I don't want to play drums because I'm lazy and I already play drums and it's all I've done forever. So like,
Right.
I kind of wanted to do something new and fun, and I was like, so I'll fill in, and then like, I think we might have practiced one time or something like that, and we were just like, I should just be in the band.
I gotcha.
So.
So you mentioned how like you're practicing every week and stuff. Are you still playing drums at all, or is vocals kind of taken over totally?
Like with Suck of Water
Just
in
in general.
Don't Start None has played a couple shows, and I've jammed a little bit with Charm, but him living an hour away right now has just been hard with my schedule and trying to be there for Caroline and stuff like that. It's been hard to travel to play, and we've kind of just taken a step back.
I gotcha. I mentioned this on the episode with Charm, which go check that out if you
Oh,
haven't.
wait. Hold, time out. I completely forgot about that. The Suckawat episode is my favorite, but my second favorite and very close up is the episode with Charm. He was killing it on that.
Hell yeah, man. And it was also the first episode where I had the camera set up too. So that was a good one
That
for
was
sure.
fucking
Hell
great.
yeah. I forget where I was going with that. What were you just
You
talking
said
about?
you brought something up in his episode. I said something about Don't Start None.
Yeah. So the Don't Start None demo that y'all released recently, the 2022 demo, hard as shit, gotta say. Like I listen to that pretty frequently, and
It was fun.
yeah, definitely.
We just kind of wanted to do something in the style of like older Baltimore bands and just not serious, not like no like great production. We did it all in Charm's living room. We were all fucked up every time we did it. Like
Right.
we were just being degenerates recording, and it came out the way it did because of it. We just wanted to be like savages.
Yeah, it was definitely a step up from the earlier demo.
Yeah, well, we did take some time to write, and I will say, we took way longer to record that EP than we should have, or the demo, because a lot of times we recorded something and we thought we had it, and we would just scratch it and redo it, and a few of the songs took a while to get in the right spot, but yeah, It's cool the way it came out. It's silly. It's silly in the best way possible.
Yeah, I like to listen to it at work, especially like I guess when I'm not having a good time at work,
Yeah.
because then I can just imagine beating people's ass to it. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Taylor's the Dundalk Rick to life, or the Essex Rick to life. Nobody book us. We ain't playing shows.
I gotcha. What's like the Rick to life meme thing?
Oh
For people
man,
who don't know,
Rick
you know
to
what I
life
mean?
is a classic character. The New York hardcore king, vocalist of 25 to Life, and he's infamous because his vocals are like gibberish.
Right.
Like you can't pick out any words of it. But yeah, he lost his mind and he lives up the street in Westminster now. But
Yeah. So I may or may not have met him
you
before.
probably did.
Yeah. So I don't know if I mentioned.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this on the last podcast or not that we did, but it's been so long.
I was a little bitter about Rick then, but my views have changed.
Yeah, it's funny, man. If you go back and listen back, yeah.
I had another personal encounter, and he was very friendly and nice. So
yeah.
So okay, I'll tell the story real quick, not to just cut off your story.
No, you're cool.
So he came. I do vehicle emission testing.
Yep.
And fucking one day it was just a hell day, and people were coming all day being assholes.
Oh man.
And he came around the end of the day, and I was just beat down from people. And he was just so nice. Thank you, sir. Thank you. He asked me how my Thanksgiving was, all this stuff. And I was like, damn, if Rick to Life is like the one nice guy on my horrible day, like I gotta give him a little bit of respect.
Yeah, dude, I'm laughing because I remember that post that you posted where you're like, I've had people coming through my thing all day, and guess who comes out of all people? Rick to fucking Life. I was like, oh my god.
I was also off some edibles at the time too, so like I was like, this is nuts, but you know, respect to him. He was a nice guy in a sea of fucking the worst people all day.
Well, yeah, I forget how the saying goes, but you know, coincidences and stuff like that, like life kind of knows when to put certain people in your life. It's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah. It's the synchronicity of fucking weird times and weird things, but
it's like you said, out of all people, you know.
Well, like I think what I said in the post is like I was talking to my coworker and I was like, who else in this town? Like everybody in town has already come and gotten tested.
Right.
Who else? Like, life said, let me show you who else.
Oh damn. So when I probably met him, I was at me and my friends, we used to hang out at the mall all the time after school. We went to school at Winters Mill, so all you gotta do is walk down the street and you're at the mall. Basically, like obviously we weren't shopping, you know, that's kind of
just
like,
hang out. Yeah. I would do the same thing
smoke,
if I grew up at the mall. Yeah.
So, but one of the things we would do is go into FYE and just like window shop in the metal section. We would just like look at all the metal CDs and stuff like that. And one day this dude tatted like a motherfucker. He's like
probably had the fedora on too.
Yeah, I don't remember the fedora, but I just remember like specifically all the tats and stuff like that. And he was just talking to us and stuff like that. I guess just because we were young kids into metal and whatnot.
He loves an impressionable youth.
Yeah, but he was talking about how he's in this band 25 to Life and whatnot. You know what I mean? And like we didn't know anything. You know.
Yeah, so I was in this band back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. And like I think he even showed us like a 25 to Life tat or something like that. You know, we were just like, oh, cool, you know.
Classic.
But yeah, you know, and then after our interview and stuff like that, seeing all the memes and stuff, I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy story.
It's funny that somebody like that in a scene like this, like, and as much as people hate him, as much shit as he said, as much as bad as he's done, he's the godfather of a certain type of hardcore.
Right.
And it's just crazy that somebody like that would end up in a town like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is crazy.
It's almost like when there's you meet somebody from like Norway or something like that, and you're like, "Why are you in Westminster?"
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Why do you come to America to a shit ass town like this? Like, it's just so strange.
Yeah, on paper, some of the areas around here look impressionable. You know, like you go over by IHOP, you take like some nice scenic pictures over there.
Right.
You know, people are like, "Oh my goodness, this is nice."
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Some people, I guess, come from so many hectic places that they just like a place like this is just,
It's a city, but it's a calmer city.
yeah,
And it's not like huge. It's still got that little bit of city life, but without being overwhelming. I
yeah.
guess.
You like, I was talking with the Alpha Hemp Solution guys about this. Like, you pretty much have to be like an adult to really enjoy a lot of the stuff around here.
Oh yeah, I'm
Because
sure.
when you're a kid,
I can't imagine growing up here. Dude. I can't imagine. I just moved here like a year ago, and
I'm gonna be honest.
there's
Like,
not much.
no, like there's real like that's the thing. Like, there's not much to get into, but like bad shit.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
there's the what's the word facade of I think that's it. There's the image of there being stuff like we have a mall and a movie theater and we have this and that, but it's not nice. There's nothing in there that's worthwhile to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
it used to be,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
maybe 15 years ago, but
Yeah.
it's just not.
been on a very, very steady decline.
No.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like when I really look back on it, like pretty much all I did was, I mean, like aside from like maybe like hanging out with kids in the neighborhood and stuff like that. But when it came to like going out and doing shit, it was all shit my parents wouldn't want me to be doing.
Right.
But like really, it's like. And also, like most of the shit around, a lot of shit around here costs money too.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Like
right,
that's the
right.
thing. Like, sports. Like I never played sports, but like also like I never realized as a kid like how much money it actually costs to put a kid in sports.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Makes
That's
me
definitely a dedication on the parents' end as well, because it ain't cheap.
Yeah. Now you kind of understand why the dads are there like let's fucking go because he paid $800 or whatever.
Yeah,
he
wants
gets
his money worth. Yeah.
Yeah, when the kid up and quits, he's like, "What are you doing?"
Exactly. Ruined his fucking
it's like-
months of hard work.
Yeah, fuck investing in Bitcoin. Like, imagine investing in your kid who's playing baseball, and he fucking. So the Suckawut EP too. Who saw it coming? Also hard as hell.
Thank you.
On the album cover, so there's this dude basically holding a gat. Is there like kind of any story behind the design?
I don't know anything about the artwork. All I know is Mike handles that, and he gets the hardest shit always. Like
Definitely.
every design he's gotten so far is just tough.
Yeah,
like,
hell
tough,
yeah.
So
when I saw the I don't know what it was called per se, but a cab shirt where it's the fucking
the
cop shooting himself.
Yeah.
I was
Epic.
like, instant cop.
Epic, yeah.
Instant cop. But like, I think we talked about it in the episode too. But like, imagine getting pulled over wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
It's like, it is a message for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
But at the same time, like, people take things a little too serious. I mean,
I know motherfuckers that'll scream a cab all day, and then a cop pulls them over, and they're like, yes sir, whatever they can do, whatever they can do to get out of the fucking shit that they got a bag in the center console or something like that. Like they'll kiss that cop's ass.
Guaranteed.
You know what I mean? Whatever it takes. And that's me too. You know what I mean? I hate them motherfuckers, but shit, if I can get out of a ticket or something,
Most of the cops I've encountered, now I've never been into anything super serious that the cops have got me for, but they've all been pretty fair to me, but at the same time, like, that's the thing, man. People fail to acknowledge the fact that, like, the more you act like an asshole, the more likely something might happen to you.
I've been watching body cam footage on YouTube of, like, fucking people, and, like, like I said earlier, I don't like cops, but some of these crazy people are nuts, and it makes you think twice about what you see, because, like,
most definitely.
People are just fucking insane. Everybody's insane.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's my whole thing is, like, I think it's bad to judge most groups as a whole, because there's some groups that are just obviously fucking, but, like, police, for example, or, there's obviously a lot of bad ones, but it's one of them things where it's like we can't necessarily get rid of all policing.
No, fuck no.
There's like here's the thing, even if we did get rid of policing as we know it, like that's the thing, there'd be people that would click up and form like vigilante gangs and shit like that.
I ain't ready for that world.
Hell no.
I ain't ready for that world.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about that too. Like, I've thought about like if some purge type shit were to go down, and I'm like, I know who I'm calling.
I don't even want to think about that shit.
Nah, because out here, like, that's the thing, like, people don't like the Purge movies are kind of realistic, but at the same time, like it would just be home robberies left and right.
Yeah.
Like there would be just gangs of people going through houses, like neighborhoods, just robbing houses, going door to door and shit.
One aspect I've always loved about, post-apocalyptic or anything like that is like Dawn of the Dead or whatever, where they go to the mall. I would go to everywhere you don't have money to go to
Yeah.
and shit like that, and just like now I guess like a lot of places the electric would be down, but like, can you imagine if like the world ended and like I guess some zombies took over like an amusement park, but like it was eradicated enough to where like people had left and the zombies had left, and like you could come up on it and everything was still running. You could have a whole amusement park to yourself for a day.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean,
Have you seen The Last of Us?
no.
So, like, this isn't really a spoiler of the show, but they showed, like, an abandoned mall and stuff like that, and, like, I think they were, like, getting on the carousel rides and stuff like that.
That's what I would be doing.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what I would be doing.
Yeah, like, that's the thing, man. I feel like so many people would just, like, almost give up. You know what I mean? But, like, if some cowboy shit was starting to go down, I'd be like, yo, I'm getting me and my friends, and, like, I'm be like, yo, guys, we're a gang now.
Yeah.
That's just kinda how, that's just how it is, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
You don't make the rules. You just gotta live.
yeah, you know, but definitely on some Omar type, some honorable type of shit, never putting your gun on no
Yeah.
citizen. That was
Yeah.
always a good quote, like that, because that's, like I said, people don't realize, like, everybody's getting robbed, dude. Oh my god. It would be so much crazier than the movies, though, because
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is like movies are fucked up, but people are even more fucked up in real life. Like
definitely.
you can't put real depravity on the screen.
Yeah, I feel like almost that, like, every movie you see, I feel like one way or another is true to an effect. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's made up, like, that shit had to have happened somehow for the human mind to have, thought of it.
Yep.
So we were talking about the Suckawat EP.
Whoops.
No, that's fine, man. I always tell all my like, I don't care if we get off track. I don't care what we talk about. I encourage.
I got ADD.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I've never been diagnosed with anything, and I was kind of talking with the Good Time Health guys about this, and it's like, I almost feel like a lot of things that we tend to diagnose children with at a very early age, like, I feel like that stuff can almost be prevented if you don't diagnose them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could get into all that shit, but yeah. Kids, whatever happened to kid being kid,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, once you tell a kid at a certain age that he's ADD or that he's depressed or that he's anxious, anything, it's
that puts
like,
him in a cage.
Exactly, and it's like they kind of
a mental cage,
Yeah, and I feel like if you just kind of maybe you have that in the back of your head, and then you just kind of teach them the skills to, I don't know, man.
No, I see where you're coming from. I definitely.
Yeah, some people though are like, they get very defensive if you say anything that's like, So, like, how would you describe the new sound when it comes to the Suckawat EP that just released? Because it is definitely kind of a new range, I feel like.
Well, I don't know if it was in their intentions or, my background, but, I come from, I hate using the word beatdown, but the beatdown, like, that's my clique. I don't care about your popular hardcore scene. I don't care about who's cool or what. I like the beatdown. You know what I mean? I like the fucking.
Yeah, I've been seeing posts where people are kind of saying, like, is beatdown like a genre, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, so definitely, like, talk about that, because if that's something you're passionate about. I mean,
Well,
I acknowledge the fact that it's a genre.
Well, it's something I kind of feel indifferent about, because like it is how I classify a certain sect of hardcore and heavy hardcore, like it's
right.
But at the same time, like, some people just say, well, beatdown is just hardcore. Well, yeah, it's just hardcore, but it ain't your terror. It ain't,
To people who aren't in the scene, though, like, at all, like, they don't get genre specific, guess what? It's all metal to some people.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like only people in certain kind of groups tend to really, really hyper focus on, what they,
Yeah.
like, to me, it's like, I'm not gonna be mad if, like, someone's like, that's metalcore, but it's hardcore. I'll be like,
Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah.
yeah, because it's all kind of influenced from the same areas in a way.
Remind me to get back to Beatdown, like what I would describe it to every man. But back to the Sucker What, like, so I come from that, scene. And I think those dudes, definitely the earlier stuff was a little bit more punk influenced. So I don't know if, like, this was the route they were going before I joined, or, like, if I had any influence on it, but it seems to me that, like, the songs that they brought to me when I joined were heavier, slower,
Yeah.
more breakdown influenced, accentuated, like, just more brutal in every way. And with my vocal style, it's, I guess I don't want to say it's deep, but it's more of a. I can't do your punk rock stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can't.
yeah.
It's like I try to be as close to a death metal influence as I can.
Right.
And I take a lot of my influence from people like Corpse Grinder and classic death metal and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different than, not even a little bit different. It's a lot different than the first Sucker What album.
Yeah.
Even with the song Blaspheme, we redid, and it's almost a different song.
Yeah.
When I listened to their first album, when we were recording the EP, I was going back and listening to that song a lot, and it was funny how different it ended up becoming. And I wanted to put my own touch on it because I don't want to be a copycat. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Nate was great at what he did. Billy, for the brief time he was doing vocals, he did great at what he did. But everybody is very different from each other.
Of course.
And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah. Who was writing on that EP?
So I only wrote lyrics to one of the songs. That's Run and Hide, and
Okay.
for the record, not a fan on how that one turned out on my part. The band killed it. I definitely could have done something a little different, a little bit better, but that was like my first shot at having something my own with the band.
I fucked with it. I fucked with the whole EP. I mean, it same thing like with the Don't Start None shit.
Yeah.
Like I can there's certain bands, there's certain EPs and albums that I listen to that I just imagine getting active to. There's stuff that I
That's
can
what we
listen.
want. That's what we want,
Yeah, no,
man.
there's
That's my
stuff-
goal.
There's stuff that I listen to and I'm like I could easily just vibe out to it. There's stuff I listen to where I'm like I have to hit motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah, you're at work and you're listening to it and you're like holding yourself. You're like, don't punch whatever's in front of you. Yeah. No. And I have bands like that, and to hear somebody say that my shit makes them feel like that, that's cool. You know what I mean?
See, that's the
all I
thing.
could
That's why I
ever
got
want.
you on like from the very beginning because Butcher's Dozen did that shit. Don't Start None's done that
That's
shit.
the goal,
This has
man.
done that shit.
I just want to make people act.
I make sure no one's around, and then I start doing,
I want to make people act like a word that I can't say right now, and I want people to make other people mad and to drink beer and to just like punch people and kick people. Like that's all I want. I don't care if you're singing the words to my songs. Sing with your fist, yo.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking beware when that shit comes on. When that new Don't Start None come on, best beware.
And that's the thing, like some of the stuff that Sucker What's writing, like I'm having a hard time doing vocals because like the music is so hard. I want to get into it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
man.
especially I feel like a few of the parts of the song "Who Saw It Coming" and "Travesty." Some of that stuff when they first brought it to me, I was like, "What the fuck have you guys been doing? Like, this is nuts."
Dude, like literally the opening to Who Saw It Coming. That drumming, I was like,
Yeah. They're onto something, and that's the thing. Like,
it's a great opener. I feel like
it was hard to put the layout of what songs had to go where.
yeah,
And I think even when it came down to naming the EP, but I think it came out strong because I really do like the Who Saw It Coming song, and like I feel like it's a good representation of our sound and everything as a whole.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fitting, like, because I'm looking at the dude, like, holding the piece, and it's like, yeah, you might not see that coming, you know?
I don't got no guns, but I can't speak for the other members of the band.
No, neither do I. So I only have. So you wrote "Run and Hide." Do you want to talk about like what that song's about?
So, when I first was got into the band, I was in a mental space of like, um, how can I say this? I wanted to do like real fictional, fictitious songs of like monsters and like
Right.
spooky stuff. Like, originally, what I wanted to do is each song would just be about a different like supernatural or monster situation, something like that.
It's that horror movie
Yeah,
influence.
I've kind of drifted away from that recently, but that was my first attempt at it, and it's pretty much just about a dude fucking running from like, I guess I could say aliens, but it ain't your green people. It's the people that like they'll look like a person that you know. They'll look like
The
your
shadow
cousin,
people.
and like they'll time travel and like just chase you. They're pretty much just somebody getting chased
Like
for a
us
while.
kind of vibes.
Pretty much.
I gotcha.
And in that story of Run and Hide, the person, the point of view, the narrative is like also like a super, I guess some sort of superhuman, and like he's like, you know what, I'm gonna kill you, motherfuckers. Like, just
Yep.
wait, I'm gonna keep running, and one day you're not gonna know what's coming, and I'm gonna fucking kill you. But like I said, I've kind of drifted away from that because of like personal life stuff. But the other songs, I know Billy wrote. What was it? I think You Saw It Coming. I think Billy
Okay.
wrote Who Saw It Coming. Um, Travesty, I'm not sure. I know most of it was Nate. I think a lot of the stuff was Nate, and then Billy did Who Saw It Coming, and I did Run and Hide.
Yeah.
If Billy, if you wrote any of the other ones, I'm sorry. I forgot. But then we got a couple songs since, and I've been writing most of the stuff, but
Nice.
it's cool to have somebody like Nate who has a background in vocals, because like kind of and with drums too, like me and Nate, we can help guide each other through some stuff, because like it's another ear of like the same instrument, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So even with a few of the songs, like when we first recorded one or two of the songs on the EP, there was like big chunks of vocals that I cut out, and I needed Nate to help me, coach me through like how he would do it, because the way he writes is like fucking poems and like paragraphs and like very detailed,
Hell yeah.
and the way I write is like short, like sentence fragments. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was kind of hard to adapt to like having so much to spit out in such short periods of time. So it was cool to have him kind of help like mend what I was doing and like coach me through it.
I gotcha. So you were talking about like you said to remind you about how you would describe beatdown and stuff like that.
So it's like hardcore but for dummies. People who like only play like breakdowns and like
It's like those.
chugging.
It's like that book series. You know what I mean? Like the Four Dummies book
hardcore
series.
for dummies.
That's funny. Oh
Yeah,
my
and
God.
it's like not your fast, like not none of that. Like pretty much think about like death metal without like the actual good instrument playing.
I gotcha. So not as complicated.
But that's not to say there aren't beatdown bands that are incredible musicians.
Oh
like,
hell yeah.
But
We'll talk about one of them.
like if you think about bands like Next Step Up and Stout, and like those are the Baltimore like beatdown kings, and I think that's why I'm kind of partial to that whole scene, because like I grew up
Yeah.
on shit like that.
Of course.
It's the more negative, the not the happy, the hopeful, like, you know.
It's the honest.
Yeah,
you
well, yeah,
know?
yeah, the real shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
But yeah, I'm, you know, I'm about music that makes you want to fucking get ignorant and like get down and get dirty.
right.
I'm trying to see assholes and elbows in the pit, you know.
Definitely.
But
I'm trying to be scared for my life.
well, yeah, that's how it used to be. Yeah, it used to happen at a lot more shows than it does now. But we're trying to bring.
I don't
want
want to get hurt, but I kind of want
a
to
little
be.
fear. Yeah,
You
get
gotta be a little.
fear.
Yeah, if
It's
you're not
like,
a little scared.
it's like a good weed. You know what I mean? You
Hell
want to look out the window a couple times. That's how you know it's good.
Definitely.
You want to check to make sure you lock the door twice. You know, you want to get a little freaked out.
That was a perfect fucking description for sure. So I wanted to talk about Dane, who passed away, because he's important for sure.
Without a doubt.
I wanted you to kind of like take the floor with that, because he was in Butcher's Dozen, right?
Yep. Dane was in Butcher's Dozen with me. He was in Bereave with me. And before that, he was in a shit ton of bands that I grew up seeing. Dane was like my bigger brother, and he was one of the first people in not even the hardcore scene, but like the local metal scene to like fuck with me. Like, I don't know. When I was a kid, I was annoying. Like, all I wanted to do was like make friends and like, you know, if I saw bands, like I wanted to talk to the dudes and I wanted to know them and I wanted to hang out, and like a lot of people didn't fuck with that, and a lot of people just brushed me away and was like, fuck this kid.
Yeah, superficial kind of stuff.
Yeah, and Dane fucking, like, he was one of the first people. Like, he definitely had a harder outer shell to crack. He was a tough, old, fucking ignorant asshole, but like, once you got into that, he was the shit. Like, so Dane, it was somebody that I grew up seeing, and as times went on, I got fortunate enough to become not only friends, but to play music with him.
Right.
And, yeah, it sucks that he's gone. It's fucking nuts. Fuck truck drivers, fucking 18-wheelers. Learn how to fucking learn your rules.
Right.
Get on your guidebook, because you're fucking up. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, a lot of, it's a lot. You see a lot of accidents because, they don't sleep.
Negligence.
Yeah, exactly.
Just fucking negligence.
Exactly.
But aside from that, anybody that knew Dane or any of Dane's bands knew that he was a special part of Maryland's music scene, and from a very long time, like from when I was a fucking kid, he was doing shit. You know what I mean? I'm fucking 27 now, and I was seeing his bands when I was like 14.
Damn.
You know,
okay.
like, so it's just, he put in his time and paid his dues and was just a fucking great part of the local scene.
Hell yeah.
I mean, he's gonna be tremendously missed, and
Sure.
it's crazy how many people were touched by him and hurt from this in so many different areas of Maryland and the scene, and like you just didn't know how big of a reach he had until he's gone, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll be honest, like, I never knew him personally or anything, but, like, I've basically interviewed the whole Butcher's Dozen band, I never, unfortunately, got to really talk with him, but when I saw that he passed, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have loved to have, a podcast with him, man.
He probably wouldn't have talked much anyway, but
there's always one person in the band. Whenever I interview a band, there's always that one person who just kind of, is
he'd be
sitting
quiet, unless you feed him a couple beers. But
hey, there we go.
Yeah, Dan was awesome. I mean, he just that, and not to get back to Suck a What, but to briefly touch on like how I said I kind of got taken away from the whole fictitious lyric writing. Him passing was one of the events that kind of like shifted how I was taking writing, and I definitely have a song. One of the next songs we'll put out has to do with that, and
Nice.
I don't know. It was definitely like a big shake up to my whole life and my whole world. I mean, any time a friend dies, it's crazy because you have to start interacting with people that you haven't seen in fucking years, and like it's just a lot of emotions, extra emotions brought on to the grieving.
Yeah,
which is hard enough itself.
Yeah, because I imagine you see every other thing differently.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you said, if you haven't seen him in a while, I'm sure that fact starts to come out and whatnot. Any sort of life event really brings a lot of perspective.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I definitely think of that time when he passed and like the experiences I had right briefly after as like a new chapter and like a definitely a different section of my life. Like things changed from then, you know what I mean? And we're living in that after Dane world now, and it's weird.
AD.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to I'm still trying to get used to it. I went the other day. I went through my texts, and I was the last time he texted me was congratulating me about having a kid, and like that's one of the main things that fucking breaks my heart is like he won't be there for that.
Yeah,
But he lived hard, fucking was a rock star, and fucking is a legend. You know what I mean? So
definitely.
I'll always be grateful for what I had and
Hell yeah.
the fact that, like I said, I got to make music with him and fucking share those experiences.
Yeah, and like I always like to bring up anybody that has passed, when it comes to the people that I've interviewed if they're close to the person because, I like to help keep the memories
Yeah,
alive and
for
stuff
sure,
like that.
for sure.
I feel like sometimes people can just totally brush that stuff off.
It's hard because everybody grieves different, and it's definitely, especially the immediate time after. It's a selfish thing, but also an easy thing to kind of just pretend like it didn't happen or to brush it off or stuff like that. But like, to get even deeper, I lost another good friend right before COVID, and that really like that was the first time my world got shooken upside down. So, as shitty or weird as it is to say, I've had a little bit of practice to like learn how to grieve right and to be healthier about it. And
I know what you
know
mean.
what I
It can
mean?
sound crazy, but I mean, the truth is when it comes to any sort of trauma, if it happens more than once, you're going to get used to it.
And it did. It did. I'm not saying it made it easier losing
Oh,
him.
hell no. Hell
I've
no.
just known. It's made it easier for me to take more enjoyment out of the time I've had with him than to suffer and sit and sulk because. Dude, if I fucking sat around and was crying right now, Dane would fucking punch me in my face and call me
Yeah, yeah.
You can't fucking let it hurt you forever. At some point you have to just take what's good from it. I'm
Yeah.
grateful and grateful is the main word I would associate with Dane because I'm just grateful for everything I've had to do with him.
Nah, most definitely, man. Like, and sometimes you don't even realize, like, how much a person meant to you,
Yeah.
especially at specific times of your life until they're gone.
Yeah.
I don't think I've talked about this. So I went to school with this girl named Danielle, and it actually was like sort of a big deal when this happened. So she had gone missing. I'm not going to go super in detail because it's pretty fucked up, but she had gone missing, and then it turned out she had gotten murdered along with another girl. Um, and basically, like I said, I had gone to school with her. I didn't date her. We didn't do anything, you know. But we were hanging out one day on Valentine's Day, funny enough, and we hung out at the mall after school, just kind of smoked and hung out and whatnot. And we came back to the house. I don't talk about this much either, right? Because it's still like kind of a personal issue. But at the same time, I have my own right to talk about this in a way. My dad has issues with alcohol. So at the time, he was kind of in a relapse situation. So she was over at the house. We were hanging out in the basement and stuff like that. We were just kind of like, I honestly can't even remember what we were doing. Like I said, we never.
Chilling.
Yeah, and I had I can't remember if I had gone upstairs or something, but either way, my dad had kind of started acting out a little, and I yelled very loud at him. And then when I came back downstairs to her, I said, not really shooken up or anything, because trust me, this girl wasn't shook. You know what I mean? But I was like, did you happen to hear any of that? Because I don't like I don't like certain people knowing about my family stuff. And she's like, I heard your dad yelling, and I was just like, that was me, and that's when she kind of got shook, I guess, a little bit, because it was like,
you got a man voice.
Yeah, right, yeah. Normally, I know my voice is a little like high, I guess, but yeah, no. And I really don't get mad, like a lot. Like at work, I get a little
That's
irritated.
different though, definitely.
Yeah,
Different
no.
when you're at home.
But either way, after that, man, we just like kind of like laid on the couch. Like we didn't do nothing, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to like brag or
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
like
yeah,
that, but like, man, I swear to God, like just being able to lay with her then,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
made me feel so fucking comfortable and shit like
Shared
that.
a moment for sure. You know.
Yeah, and we did kiss a little bit, but and you know, and then like we went to a school field trip to the aquarium and like, you know, held hands on the bus and stuff like that. But we never were in a relationship or anything, but like it's fucked up what happened to her
Mm.
because she was around some really shitty people. You know, I'm not like saying that's any fault to her. We all hang out with some pretty
Right,
sketchy
right.
people every now and then.
Don't mean you deserve to die.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about this happening, but basically it was like it was a shitty like situation where someone had stolen like a minuscule amount of drugs, and then basically what had happened is that person got stabbed, and then they took him out to the woods, and I think they burned him or something like that. I forget what
Where
had
did this
happened.
happen at?
Right around here, pretty much. They I think they took him from around the block, and then they took him out to the woods and like killed him and shit. But either way, my friend was a witness to this, so they killed
I
her
think
too.
I remember hearing about. It was just like
Another
2 or 3
girl,
years ago.
yeah, another girl got killed too. Heather, rest in peace to Heather too. I think Heather Groggs was her name. I never knew her,
Yeah,
but
I
I
remember.
mean,
I remember this now. That's crazy.
yeah, man. I mean, it's just shit happens, you know, and it's you know, I of course I appreciated what we did at the time, but like you know, since she passed, it's like it means a lot more to me now.
Oh yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah. I guess it's good because you know when you're going through some traumatic, not that like you know that was probably the worst you went through with your dad, but like you know that's not fun, and especially to have somebody here for that, it's probably great to have them comfort you than to rather reject it or fucking be like run away. You know. What I
Oh
mean?
yeah, no, she was like very accepting, and that's the thing. Like everyone at Gateway pretty much is troubled in some way, so we all
You went to
kind of
Gateway. Okay, that's funny.
yeah,
Dude.
we
We were.
both went to
I
Gateway
was talking
together.
to somebody the other day about alternative schools, and I forgot.
I loved Gateway.
I forgot what the name was around here, and I was like,
Yep.
"Oh yeah, Gateway. The bad kids went to Gateway."
Yeah, but that's almost like a misconception because like you can totally go there voluntarily. Like if you are a person that has anxiety.
Damn, if I would have known, I would have been there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like
That's where the cool kids went.
well, like if you're a kid who like never shows up to school, if you're a truant, that's where they'll send you. And it's Gateway is made for kids to pass school. But it's a really great school, man. Like I've never seen teachers who care as much as they do at Gateway.
Yeah, I'm sure you gotta care a lot more than a public school, cause like, I not to generalize or assume, but like, I'm sure some of them kids weren't the easiest to work with, and like,
No.
you know, as some people at like regular schools, they're just there to get a paycheck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not there to shape a kid's life.
See, I love The Wire, especially season 4, because it shows how the kids.
I haven't seen anything of it, dude. I'm not even gonna. I know you're gonna want to take me out back and beat my ass.
Nah, man, that's fine, dude. I didn't watch The Wire, and what's crazy is like so I've interviewed Trey Chaney from
Yeah.
The Wire. He played Poot. I got that interview like not even a couple months after I finished The Wire.
It's been on the list for a while, but like I think I started it and my girlfriend wasn't there. I watched the first episode and she got pissed, and like I haven't wanted to go back and watch the first episode again with her, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely like the first episode is like I don't want to say it's bad, but like it's definitely not the best representation of the show. You definitely got to get into it. So each season kind of represents a different aspect of why Baltimore and these inner cities are the way they are. Season 4 focuses on school and the kids and whatnot.
Okay.
So it really does a good job of showing like how kids are going through shit at home and that's why they're acting out. So what were we talking about before that when it came to that? If we can't remember, it's okay.
Ah, fucking fine.
I forget too much shit.
Yeah.
Fucking, I need that alpha brain or whatever Joe
So
Rogan
I got it.
takes.
It don't do shit. I've tried. I was stealing Alpha Brains from Walmart because that shit's like $30. And then my fucking old lady was like, "You gotta quit doing that shit. You gotta quit stealing it." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
That's funny.
I mean, my friend was doing that, not me. But
Yeah,
he was
it's
giving
alleged.
them to me. He was giving them to me.
So I wanted
But
to
they
talk.
didn't do nothing.
Right. I wanted to talk about this too because we were kind of talking about just how traumatic shit, like someone passing away, is almost like a new chapter of your life. I haven't talked about this on a podcast either. So I was at work and my chest started hurting one day. Nothing crazy. Like, because trust me, when your chest really hurts, like, you know when something's super wrong.
Yeah.
I had a little ache in my chest while I was working, but I'm constantly fucking putting boxes of books away and stuff like that. And I was drinking Celsius Energy at the time too. So I was like, okay, this might be just normal right now.
Yeah.
The next morning, I woke up and it was like kind of starting to get worse. Got in the shower. By the time I got out of the shower, I was like, this is not right.
Yeah.
The best way to describe how I was feeling is like the worst migraine in your head, but in your heart. It was nuts. So, like, I'm getting ready for work because, like, when you're a man, you got to go to work.
You don't fucking call out, yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
You don't call out of work unless it's, because that's the thing. You got to take out time, which you'd rather use for something else. But it got to the point where, like, there's some pain where, like, you're not crying, like, but, like, there's pain where your tears are coming out of your eyes. And that shit started happening. My mom's a nurse, and I, like, wake her up. I'm like, Ma, like, something not right. My chest hurts. I'm like, it really fucking hurts. And, like, it got to the point where I was like, like, she's like, all right, we're going up to the emergency room.
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I kind of knew it wasn't a heart attack because I know that, like, your left arm or whatever will go numb or, like, So I was like, I know it's not a heart attack, but you just never know.
Yeah. I mean, anything
Like,
to do with your chest is kind of fucking freaky.
Yeah, well, like, my uncle, her brother died of a heart attack, and my grandfather had heart issues, I believe. So either way, I get taken to the ER. Luckily, it was at the perfect time before, like, people had to be, like, waiting in the hallway and shit. I got in and, like, immediately they, like, hooked me up to the EKG or whatever. Dude asked me if I did cocaine. I was like, no.
Yeah. Not today, sir.
I kind of laughed. Oh, by the way, I did smoke immediately before going. Because I was like, I knew it was going to be a while. I knew it was going to be a while. So I was like,
it's going to hurt you any worse, yeah.
well, yeah, it's like, here's the thing. I'm going to be honest. Like, some people might be like, really? Really? But, like, fuck you. If I'm going to die, I'm not dying sober. You can suck
might
my...
as well, yeah.
I love the scene of Wolf of Wall Street where it's like, get the lewds.
Yeah, straight
get
up.
the lewds. I will not die sober.
Yeah, I've definitely have had bad injuries where the first thing I do is, like, before, like, I had to get stitches one time, and before I even fucking went before I even went to the emergency room, I smoked a whole fucking cone.
Yeah, dude, same thing. I'm gonna not get too deep into it because I want to finish this.
Yeah.
But I sliced my hand on a can of dog food, and my mom was telling me, like, don't be smoking before you go. Like, immediately smoked a cone.
Got to.
Same thing.
Got to.
I was geeked in the hospital in the fucking urgent care. But either way,
your chest, yeah.
Yeah, so fucking chest is hurting like crazy. It's hurting like crazy. It's like I said, it's like a migraine in your heart, and it's like you really don't know what's going on. And like at first I was kind of okay, but once I was in the hospital room, man, like I was kind of starting.
Them lights hit you, and you
like,
start freaking out.
Yeah, I was kind of like, wait. I was like, oh fuck, man, this might be serious.
This
You know
could
what I
be
mean?
it.
Yeah, exactly. They ended up putting me in a room and shit like that. The pain got so bad at one. All I'm gonna say, if anybody's listening to this, if you ever are in the hospital with pain and they start to give you medicine and they say, "Let us know when you need more medicine," if that pain even starts to creep up, you get their fucking attention. Because I waited until it was too late, and I shit you not, my hands and legs started going numb from how much pain I was in. Like, literally, like, falling asleep.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like...
Yeah, your body can't fucking focus on anything else.
Dude, it is crazy. Like, and, like, I'm the type of person, like, I respect everybody in healthcare and stuff like that, but you're just like, please give me a fucking medicine,
Yeah.
Fucking... Dude, they were giving me, like, close to 1,000 milligrams of, like, Tylenol or whatever to fucking... Or, aspirin or whatever to fucking... put my shit down.
That
but
probably didn't do nothing.
So it turns out I
Fuck a Tylenol.
think it was pericarditis and myocarditis. Definitely myocarditis, and I think it's pericarditis. But either way, basically, the outer sac of my heart and my actual heart started to get inflamed, and when that happens, there's an enzyme that gets released in your blood. So they kept drawing blood from me like every couple hours. And when they find that enzyme, they have to keep you under observation and shit like that. So I was in the hospital for like 2 days. And I'm not the kind of person that's like, look at my IV, look at my, I thought about it, but I was like, man, I just
sit there and watch the TV, right?
Oh yeah, dude, it was funny because at one point I was watching The Godfather and this janitor came in. He's like,
Could be worse,
great choice. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
best movie of all time.
Yeah, so they're like, it could be worse. I'm watching The Godfather.
Well,
at
yeah, I
least.
mean, but I really started to like think a lot.
So what causes that? Was there anything?
I caught like a stomach bug a little bit like a few weeks before, and apparently any virus can cause your heart to do that. I
That's
wish
scary.
that on no one.
That's scary.
It is the worst pain I've experienced in my fucking life. And like luckily after the second time, they're like, all right, we're just gonna keep giving you this shit every like a couple hours or whatever. We're gonna give you some of this shit. But like I'm telling you, man, that put a lot of perspective into my fucking shit because I was
I'm
like, man, that
sure.
could have easily
Yeah.
taken me out.
Yeah.
Man, I was thinking about this podcast and everything like that. I was like, damn, there's so much I want to do with this, man. I better not get fucking taken out right now.
Well, let me put it this way, at least, like, not to be too morbid, but if you were to die tomorrow, at least you have like you've done everything you've done so far. That's a good little. I mean, unless God forbid, the internet dies or YouTube gets taken down or whatever.
Yeah.
That's something that'll always be there of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
and all of your
definitely.
guests as well. Like,
I do think about that. I mean, I have some pretty morbid thoughts, but I do think it's necessary to think about that kind of stuff
Oh, yeah.
because, like, you really do got to think about, like, what you are going to leave behind.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to die tomorrow, like, what the hell, what are people going to know you for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, another big thing, we've kind of mentioned it, I think, already. You have a kid on the way, man.
Yep.
So, was this something you were planning for?
It wasn't something we were not planning for. I wasn't expecting it at all, but like we've always like for the last couple of years we've been down with it and
Okay.
like, I wouldn't
If it
say I
happens,
wouldn't
it happens.
exactly. So it was kind of to the point where we were like, well, I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen. So, and then she was eating some sort of food that she loves and it wasn't tasting right, and she's like, something's up.
Dude, it's
And-
kind of crazy how women know when something's
yeah.
up, man.
Well, obviously everybody goes through things differently, but like I felt bad for her the first couple months because like the smell of everything and like the taste of things, it was like
Oh, they go through it for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. She's a trooper for this whole journey, but like I'm so fucking stoked, and like I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. Like everything is perfect to me. Like Caroline's my best friend. She's the coolest, fucking funniest. Like, I think we're gonna make an awesome fucking person. We're not finding out what it is until it comes out. Like,
Okay.
it's
Sick.
that's another thing that a lot of people act weird about, but like it's fucking fun. It keeps us guessing.
Oh,
and
definitely, yeah,
it adds a
man.
little thrill. But like, either way, boy or girl, like I want a healthy baby, and like, no matter what. If it's a boy or girl, I think like me and Caroline together would make a fucking awesome person. Like,
Hell yeah.
not like no,
Nah,
I'm
fuck
pretty
that.
cool.
That's the attitude
Yeah.
you definitely gotta have.
like, I hate to talk about myself as being cool, but like,
Nah, man.
if you take my shit, half of my shit, and half of her shit, that would make the most epic
Fuck
person.
yeah,
you know what I
dude.
mean?
Nah,
So,
that is the attitude you must have.
she's got like 3 weeks left, and like,
Oh shit. Okay, yeah. I was
it's-
gonna say.
yeah.
I was thinking about the timeline of all these questions and stuff like that. I was like, okay, it must be.
Yeah, so like for
Close.
example, like next weekend, Suckawat's playing Key Brewing. I don't know when this is gonna come out. It might be past that or not, but like, that's our last show for a while.
Right, and
That's
is that
why
to prepare for the kid and stuff?
Yeah, well, I just like I want to be around, and I don't want to like, especially with how things are going with Suckawat. Like we could definitely be offered some out of state stuff and shit like that. And as much as I would love to, at least for the first like. I hate to put a time limit on it because Caroline will kill me for whatever I say. But like in my mind, at least the first year, like I'm trying to be right by her side. I'm not trying to like.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm not saying like I won't play shit here and there, but like I mainly am trying to like take the time to like write with them, like, you know, I wanna do a music video. Like there's things we can
Hell yeah.
do around, you know what I mean, that I don't have to. I can still be close by and be around with Caroline and help. But like, you know, we have a couple songs. We could do a couple more songs. Like I want to take this time to really reel in our shit and tighten up and fucking do all the stuff to where like when I come back and I'm ready to play shows, we can fucking drop some fucking bombs on people, you know?
Definitely, definitely. Speaking of music videos, right? I've kind of mentioned the idea, like I am eventually going to do some T-shirts for this podcast and stuff like that, and it will be like themed around the hardcore scene and stuff like that. And I'm definitely gonna do like promotion videos and stuff like that. And I do got some pretty big ideas and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
And it will be like kind of local and
Fuck
stuff
yeah.
like that. And I was like talking with people, and it's like for example, like for people who don't know, dirt bike culture is pretty big around here. It's big in Baltimore City and stuff like that. But I mean, this is the stick, so
Right, yeah, people love that shit.
so I was talking with a friend of mine that I went to school with about like I was like, hey man, eventually I'm gonna do some clothing and stuff like that, and I want to do like a promotion video. I was like, would you be willing to like ride bikes in the video,
Fuck
doing
yeah.
wheelies and
Fuck
burnouts and
yeah.
shit like that? And he was like, yeah, but he was talking about like the risk of it all and stuff like that. You know what I mean? In a way,
and,
because
and
like
how so? Like,
getting like caught by the cops and stuff like that. But you know, I think he's more or less thinking about riding around
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like, I was probably gonna do it in the sticks.
well, look, yo, here's the thing. When I was a kid, fucking skateboarding, BMXing, motocross, all that shit was all so tightly aligned with hardcore metal music. Like,
Right.
I have a DVD I picked up from a thrift store the other day called Slammed, where it's just people wrecking like motorbikes and like BMX bikes and just slamming with an insane fucking metalcore like Bleeding Through and 18 Visions and like shit like that soundtrack. So like I think that's kind of like become, you know, a thing of the past. And I definitely think it would be an awesome thing to bring back. Like
Hell
that's
yeah.
that's definitely something I was even thinking about with like the Suck a What video is like, you know, as stupid as it sounds, like having just like badass cars burning out and like
Dude,
fucking
dead
people
ass.
riding wheelies and shit like that.
Yeah,
'Cause
man,
it's
I'm
just-
definitely gonna be doing that sort of stuff in this promotion and
Fuck
stuff
yeah.
like that. And I swear to God, I was thinking about even doing like the Don't Start None demo that y'all just did. I was thinking about doing the intro to the
Dude.
fucking shit.
use what use.
Because like
you have my
literally like
permission to use
some of the
anything.
breakdowns would go perfect with just
Exactly.
fucking-
I love it. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying, dude. That used to be a big thing, and you don't hear no fucking breakdowns with people popping wheelies anymore.
Oh yeah, no, y'all. I'm gonna give a little sneak peek of what I want to do. Like, trust me, this promotion, we're gonna be shooting guns, we're gonna be doing
Fuck
wheelies,
yeah.
we're gonna be doing degenerate shit,
Exactly. That's
we're gonna
how
be
it should be
smoking,
done.
we're
Fuck
gonna be
yeah.
fucking nah. You're gonna see what it's like around this bitch.
Fuck yeah. I love it.
Hell yeah. So back to your kid and stuff like that. How has your perspective on life changed since you got the news and stuff like that?
Oh well, here's like a main thing is like it's just I have to. I gotta give a little bit more of a fuck.
Right?
I can't be careless.
Definitely.
Like, you know how many times I would have quit my fucking job in the last fucking 9 months if I didn't have a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perspective switch on like just not thinking about yourself. You know what I mean?
For sure.
You got to think about like what's to come and what I can do to like help the future and like, you know, benefit myself instead of fucking set myself back and set my family back. You know, I'm just trying to make the right choices, trying to. I just want to do everything right. You know what I mean? I don't know if Caroline would ever want to have a kid again. I don't know if I would ever want to have a kid again. This might be my only shot. This might be our only shot. Like, I want to do everything the best I can, and like, I don't know. It's kind of put a. I've distanced myself from some stuff, and I've definitely been more of a recluse, and like, you know, kind of just keeping to myself and
you know,
staying home.
despite what people think, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you really find most of your inner peace and stuff like
Yeah.
that, man. I mean, especially when, you know, I'm not saying this is the case for you, but like sometimes the people that you can hang out with can just be kind of bad for your influence and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Toxic sort of behaviors can really influence you to really do shit that will affect your life.
Right,
you know what
right.
I mean? So also, like, what's the preparation been like?
Oh, there is no. I mean, there's no way to really prepare.